I came from Wall Street, as you mentioned. I was super successful there, and I started networking in this entrepreneurial world, coming across in that same relentless, aggressive Wall Street way, not realizing that it didn't work in this entrepreneurial world. So
Mm.
I would network and talk about my products, and I
Mm-hmm.
was really pushy. I didn't know it at the time, but actually I would walk up to people like at this networking event, and these women saw me coming and they actually turned the other way. And I was like,
Oops.
oh my God, what is going on? I felt that energy. And I
You know
started,
what's so amazing, Debbie? That like there's so many of us for fear of that happening won't do anything,
I
right?
know, I
Because it feels
know.
so bad. I just want to point out, like, you didn't die. Anyway, go on.
Good point. I'm still here. So this was happening over and over and over again. I was getting super frustrated, and we had just filed bankruptcy and gone through foreclosure.
Oh my
And so I
goodness.
was showing up at these events really desperate to make money. Who here has ever felt that feeling, had that feeling like you had? And I want you guys to interact in the chat or raise your hand. Elaine already did. She knows the question. Who here has had that happen where you had to make a sale just to make ends meet, like to pay your bills? Like
For sure, for
that's what
sure.
happened. And
Incredible pressure. I
I
don't
was
recommend it.
no, it was the worst. And I thought, I'm going to put a smile on my face and no one's going to know. Because back then, nobody was talking about this kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
about bankruptcy and foreclosure. I was very humiliated and embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is this was going on event after event after event. Nobody was, answering my emails. Nobody was giving me referrals. My coffee dates weren't resulting in any business, at no referrals or no clients. Like nothing was happening. And finally, I had this like aha moment that I needed to let go of my agenda. I had such an agenda to make sales and get clients. I had to let go of my agenda and just show up in service to people and see how I could help them. So that's what I started doing, and everything started to shift for me. I invested in coaches. I read books on heart-centered sales. Watched videos. I did everything I could. I took home study programs because I didn't have the money at the time to invest in a coach. And things started to shift. Money started coming in. I started getting more clients. People weren't turning away and running away from me anymore.
That's
And
a good
then
thing.
and then I hired, coach to work with and invested $15,000 when I had no money, no credit cards, even though it was hard for us. And I actually borrowed from 3 friends to make this $15,000 investment. And that
Just want to
changed
celebrate the courage that
everything.
that takes, the courage that that takes, and the clarity and the self-trust in your calling. And that muscle that you flex is obviously so beautifully expressed now in your thriving business and how
Ah,
all the people that you're able to help. So thank you
thank
for being
you.
brave. Yeah.
So what inspired me to really wrap up the answer to your question is that
There's already value for everybody though. This is all good. Yeah.
so what happened was I started to talk to people, and a woman who I followed up with for 14 months, who finally became a client, said to me, Debbie, people are really struggling with follow-up. You have a gift. You need to share this with people. I'm like, what are you talking about? I had no idea. Like, who here has a gift, like something that you just do naturally that you take for granted, right? You guys all do. Yeah, I see
Everybody, whether
Claudine.
you
Yeah,
raise your hand or not.
you all have that gift. And so she said to me, you've got to do something with this. And that's actually how this business of coaching people in sales and follow-up happened. And so now my mission, because I see this is the missing piece for people, Michelle. People are spending all this time and money on creating their website, their programs, their packages, their social media posts, their Facebook ads, and blah, 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 blah. And they're not following up, and they don't have a sales process in place. And so all that time, energy, and investment that they made in all these other things is going down the drain. So my mission,
100%.
my
100%.
my mission is to help all of you share your gifts and get your message out in a big way and make the impact you're here to make. And that will only happen if you have a follow-up or it will only happen consistently if you have a follow-up and sales process in place to help you to do that. So I felt a moral obligation. I've got to share this with people. I've got to teach people what I figured out. And I created a heart-centered sales system so that you never feel salesy or pushy ever again. Who wants that? No salesy pushy.
Yay.
Anyone want
So
that?
good.
Yes. Okay.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I think we even got into a little bit about why you're so passionate. I mean, the
Yes.
people we're talking to here in my world, in my community, we feel called, and you felt called. And so it's beautiful to see that actual implementation and manifestation. And I know for me, I have a surprise question for you. Was it hard to quantify and take this thing you did naturally that became second nature for you and put it into a system?
Yes. It was, I'll never forget, because I was talking to a client of mine who's just about to launch her first group program, and she's like freaking out. I said, I freaked out the first time because I sold a program before I even had it. It was just this game I was playing in an event.
That's the way we do it. Take notes. Those of you taking notes, we don't create it and then sell it. Go on. Good job.
I offered it because it was a game to make this offer for something. I was like, what should I offer? My friend said, offer a follow-up program. It's like, I don't have a follow-up program. And she said, offer it anyway. So long story short, I offered this thing and people gave me their credit card. I went, oh shit, I got to create a program now.
Yeah.
And it was really, it was challenging that first.
And it's so scary, right? It's so vulnerable because we care and we think it needs to be perfect, and our professionalism and what are people going to think. So thank you for
Exactly.
sharing that lovely insight. It's
Yeah.
so powerful when you're creating a program to have real people go through it and say, ask their questions. And then that's why your program is so successful now.
One thing I want to share,
yeah.
excuse me one sec, I forgot to mention this. Another reason why I'm so passionate about teaching this is that during that time with the bankruptcy and the foreclosure, when I wasn't getting any results from networking and all my efforts, I came this close to getting a job and going back to Wall Street, like this close. And thank God the universe had other plans for me. But at the time, it was devastating. But I'm so committed to helping people to never have to go back to a job if they don't want to, right?
So
And
good.
that breaks my heart because it would have robbed me of my happiness and my joy, right?
I
And I
only
don't want
spent
that.
5 years on Wall Street as a temp when I was an actress in New York City at Goldman Sachs. And I don't want anybody to go back. Definitely with you on the soul robbing, and not a culture that feeds me. So we're so glad that you were I mean, there's courage, there's trust, there's personal development, doing the work, getting clear of like, oh, this isn't working, and having the humility to do something new. Such an inspiring story. I want to ask you about the challenges. Most entrepreneurs, I'm sure you see the same things, like some people doing the same thing. There's such a similarity between our work in the sense that people don't get visible, right? They'll get lost in their text and their image and their graphics and their websites, like you were saying, and then they don't actually give voice to their work and talk about it. So there's a similarity. I think people here are really going to be so supported by what you're sharing with us today. What do people tell you? What are the stories we tell ourselves that stop us from making those sales conversations happen and following up? Is there like a top 4, top 3?
Well, what stops people when I hear over and over and over again are these, number one, the stories that people make up. Oh, they're not going to be interested, or I'm not good enough, or, I haven't been doing this long enough, or, they're too this or they're too that. Like all these stories get made up, and that stops people. But the biggest thing I hear is that people think they associate sales and follow up with being salesy and pushy. They feel that if they're going to follow up, that people are going to think they're salesy and pushy.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing.
And, when we go to the next layer is they feel afraid of being judged, right?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
don't want to be icky.
Right.
Really, really powerful. What else? What are the other? Let's call them all out on the carpet.
All right.
The
So
elephants in the room.
Elephants in the room. And then I do see there's some questions here we can answer at some point. So thank you for all putting that in. So the biggest challenges I see are, number one, people tell me this, they use these words. I just wing it a lot. I'm not prepared. I don't have a process in place. And so they show up at networking events. They're not prepared with what they're going to say when people ask what they do. They're not prepared with the questions that they're going to ask to get to know people and build the relationship. So they just wing it. The second thing is they don't have a follow-up system in place. And when I say system, I'm talking about 2 different things. One is the technology to keep track, and it's called a CRM. If those of you don't know it's a customer relationship management system, and that's what helps keep you on track. I'd love you to put in the chat if you currently are using a CRM consistently. I just want to know. Just say yes CRM, no CRM.
We're shopping. I have like a homemade CRM, and we're shopping for the best tool to use. So
yes, we got a no from Paul. I knew Elaine was using one. Yeah, Mary said yes, fabulous.
Great.
So I'd love to hear from the rest of you. So people are like a lot of people have business cards from the olden days when we were networking in person. They have notepads, they have Excel spreadsheets, and like there's no follow-up happening. And the other system is knowing what to do and what to say, and what's the sequence and what's the best way to reach out to people and how often for how long. And that's where I come in. So I work with my clients to get the right CRM for them and then what to do. And
so
then
good.
The other thing that comes up, I mentioned the limiting beliefs. That's a big thing that comes up that stops people, that they're challenged with. And then the fourth thing, and I want you guys to be, Zenaida said no CRM. Okay, so we've got half and half here. The last thing is that people are not consistently asking their clients for referrals. And you are sitting on a gold mine. So I'd love you to put in the chat if you consistently ask your clients for referrals. Yes, referrals, no referrals. I see Claudine's face. I'm like, I think I'm going to get a no from her. I could see the look on her face. Oh my God.
Again, we have a story that it's like self-involved, or it's vain, or it's greedy, or it's awkward, when, you know, people who have gotten the result with you are usually so excited. They just don't think of it.
I have some really awesome statistics. Can I share them?
Yeah.
Just to give people perspective.
We are going to definitely open this conversation up in a few minutes. So please feel free to post your questions, and then those of you who have clicked the link and joined us here live on the Zoom, get your questions answered for sure.
So a couple of things I want to share, the statistics, but I also want to comment on what you just said about the reason why. And this is what I hear why people don't, because I ask whenever I used to speak live, and even when I speak online, I always ask that question, you know, who here consistently asks their clients for referrals? And like hardly anybody's hand ever goes up. And I ask why, and they say two things. One is they don't want to come across desperate. They think that when they're asking for referrals, it will show that they're desperate, and that is not true, okay? So I want you guys to have a mindset shift around that, and I can help you with that. The second thing is they think that, again, they're being pushy and salesy. Like this person's, I've already asked this person to become a client, and now I'm asking them to refer. So the thing is, guys, that your clients want to give you referrals. If you provide a good service or a good product and they've gotten results, nothing makes them feel better than to refer you on to someone else who also benefits. It's like a win-win-win, right? So the statistics show that 45% of people who are looking for a new service, you know, a service-related business, come from the recommendations of others. So 45% come from referrals. But here's the, and research also shows, and this is different from industry to industry, it's just an average, but 1 out of 20 people on average will say yes to working with you. But when that person is referred to you, it's 1 out of 6 people. So your chances of getting a yes from someone who's referred to you improves by 300%. So I really mean it. You guys are sitting on a gold mine. But you have to have a plan in place and a strategy of how to ask, when to ask, and how to train your clients how to give you referrals. And that's what I work with my clients on in my Power Up Your Sales program, exactly how to do that. So you make it super easy for people to refer folks to you.
So good. So good. So that's a major takeaway from our talk today, because we've already had folks sharing that it didn't even occur to them to ask for referrals. We've talked about how it's awkward to ask for referrals. So one of the things that I love to talk about, and I'm thinking you love to talk about, is the value of, let me see, how do I want to ask this question? How do we get good at it?
So Claudine, this is in response to Claudine's post. I did your test. That's the Power Up Biz Quiz. Before coming here, I noticed that referrals is something I never imagined to do. I didn't know that I can do it.
Right.
Okay. So I'm sorry, what was your question? I
Yeah, I'll jump into the chat. I'm going to monitor the chat for you
Okay.
so that we don't interrupt
Okay.
you too much.
Okay.
We're definitely going to hop in and ask those questions. If you are watching live, it's not too late to click that link and jump in here and join us on Zoom and get your questions, get coaching with the Debbie right here and right now. I'm wondering about how do we get ready? How do we get good at it?
Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right, fabulous. So the first thing
Because I
is,
know we have a really fun gift that I want to share. So you talk about that and then we'll share the gift for those that are here.
So the way we get ready is, number one, have it on our radar screen. So Claudine said it wasn't even on her radar. So that's the first thing. That's why I shared those statistics, so you know how much easier it is for someone to say yes when it comes from a referral, is to get ready with, prepare the language. First of all, how you're going to ask your clients for referrals. Because if you just say, hey, who do you know who you can refer to me? That's not going to do anybody any good. Like they're not going to. So remember, guys, for those of you who are old enough, remember those old-fashioned Rolodexes where we used to keep track of people's information?
I had a job maintaining someone's Rolodex.
Oh,
it's a
God.
Nightmare.
Oh, God.
Permanent scars.
I bet.
I'm just kidding.
So my analogy is, we all have a Rolodex in our head. And when someone is asking you for referral and they're really specific of who they're looking for, you're going to go through your Rolodex and go, oh, I know someone. But if you say, who do you know you can refer to me? Like, nobody's going to come up. So you have to be really clear to get ready for this, to answer your question of who your ideal client is and how to articulate it clearly to people so they get it, right? So that's step one. Step two is, I don't know about you, but if someone asks me to refer someone to them, I'm not going to sit there and write the email and create the language and figure out what I'm going to say, because I don't have the time, number one. And number two, I wouldn't do it as well as they could. They're going to share better than anybody about what they do, right? So the next step is to have language ready to give to people so they know exactly what to say on your behalf. So you're spoon feeding your clients and your JV partners or power partners exactly what you want them to say. So you're going to get more referrals because the language is clear and it's more powerful and it's more compelling and engaging. So
you're going to make it easier for them, right? Make it so much easier for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I work on with my clients in my Power Up Your Sales program, because it's so critical to have a referral strategy in place. And then you have to follow up with referrals. So I have a client who started working with me, and she had been given a referral and she never called this woman. So I worked with her on the chicken list, which is something I've created, which are those people that you're uncomfortable or afraid to call. Mm-hmm. So put in the chat if you've got anybody on your chicken list, like somebody you're hesitating to call, right? You're uncomfortable calling. So we worked on what she was going to say. She called this woman. Long story short, it ended up being a $50,000 client for her over the next 2 to 3 years. So you have to have a process for following up with the referrals, because if you don't follow up with referrals that people give you, it's going to make them look bad and they're going to stop referring people to you. So we have to take those referrals so seriously, and then let the person know if that referral became a client and thank them. And if you have referral fees, you'll pay them something if you want, or a card or a letter or a gift or whatever, right? So those are all things that you want to do to get ready for bringing in more referrals.
Really good. And people come to me all the time, Messenger, right? I'm a transformational message mentor. It's like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. How do I say it? Right? I don't know what to say. And I don't know what to say going live. I don't know what to say in making an offer. I don't know when to make it, how to make it, where to, I don't know what to say. So you have a really cool gift.
Yes.
That we're going to share them. Why don't you tell them about it? And I will post it here in the Zoom chat. Okay. Do we also want to post it in my group?
Yes, please.
Okay, great.
Please. Yes. So what Michelle was saying is so spot on. People get so tripped. And actually, that's one of the reasons also why people don't follow up, is because they don't know what to say. And they'd rather not make the call than feel uncomfortable making the call and not knowing what to say. So because of that, I created this gift that I'm so excited about. I've never done this before, where I'm sharing scripts with all of you guys. Like, normally my scripts are just shared in my programs with my clients. So there's 3 scenarios that trip people up a lot. And one is, who here has ever found a business card and maybe you didn't remember who they were and you were about to throw the card out? Anybody? have that happen. Like, who is this person? You have to throw the card out. Okay, I'm seeing some yeses. Thank you, Zanita and Claudine. Yeah, so never throw out a card. Like, that's like putting a dagger in my heart. Like, never throw out a card. There's always something you can
Really?
say.
Like
Really.
that drawer back there, you see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I see it.
I've followed through most of them,
Good
but
for
really
you.
never 5 years. I was probably 5 years old.
I mean, if you have no one else to call, like if you've followed up with everyone you recently met and you're starting to go through that stack,
Yeah.
call them, and there's a script in there for what to say to
So
those
great.
people that makes it super comfortable. And I want to tell you guys, whenever I follow up with people, no matter how long it's been, they always are grateful and
Yes.
appreciative, and it makes them feel so good that I thought of them. So
Yes.
just don't worry about the salesy, pushy thing. As long as you let go of your agenda, show up in service to see how you can help them, you won't feel salesy and pushy, okay?
Nice.
So the second scenario is, and this happens all the time, is let's say you've had a conversation with somebody who is interested in working with you, whether you do a discovery session or whatever you call the process when someone reaches out and you have this conversation and they don't say yes on the spot, like they're not a yes right then, and they slip through the cracks. Anybody have that happen, that you've done these conversations? Elaine and Paul? Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of hands. Put in the chat if you've muted your video. For the rest of you guys, I'd love to hear if that's happened to you. I hear this happen all the time. I did a discovery session. I had an enrollment conversation. They weren't a yes. And then I followed up and then they went MIA. Yeah, Mary said, yes, sad but true. It happens a lot. So I have a script in there of what to say to those people when you call them. It's
So good.
amazing. And then the last scenario is you found someone maybe at a networking event or a workshop or wherever, and you think they could be a good JV partner or power partner for you. Like, what do you say? Because a lot of time, if you don't know what to say, you could hose them down with too much information. Maybe you're just trying to
Call that the fire hose factor.
the fire hose factor, and you're trying to get, like, you want them to know that you're credible and you want them to know that, you know, you could help their people or whatever, and you just blow the conversation, right? So here's a script of how to reach out to those people. So they're incredibly valuable scripts. And I think, yeah, the link is in there,
It is.
powerupyourfollowup.com/free
I also
gift.
posted it in the Facebook group. So it's linked in the Facebook group. Zoom's not letting me link it in here. You have to copy it out of the chat. If you want to save the chat, there's 3 little dots down there where you post that say right next to the thing that says file, and it'll give you an option to copy the chat if you want to make sure you got that.
Yeah.
Really great. We have some questions to ask. Shall we jump into those questions?
Yes,
I mean,
please,
to answer. They've
to answer.
asked. We'll answer them. How about that? Paul
Awesome.
is asking, how often should you ask current clients for referrals?
Okay, so great question, Paul. So
Really good.
Really good question. So it's not about really how often, it's just you'll know in the moment. So if a client has gotten great results from working with you and you're having a conversation and they're sharing that, perfect opportunity to ask in that moment, right? So you'll know when they're really happy and their life has changed or their business or whatever it is that you do has supported them, that's when you want to ask. Also, when you first sign up a client, you can actually seed in that moment that you're going to ask them later. You can just say, hey, you know, I'm so thrilled that we'll be working together and you're going to be getting great results with XYZ. And when that happens, I'm going to be asking you, who do you know who could also benefit from getting support with, you know, ABC, whatever it is that. But in terms of, like, if you're working with somebody long term, like if you're working with somebody for a year, like every month or so, just casually ask. Like when you're at the end of a coaching call or whatever you do with people, you can just say, hey, you know, you've just been getting such great results. You're doing this now that you didn't do before that. Like, you want to represence what it is that has changed for them. So I'm sure you know some other people who are also struggling with this, and be very, very specific, who could really benefit from working with me. Does anybody come to mind? So that you'll feel it. Just tap into your intuition. And my whole journey over the years has been getting out of my head into my heart, getting out of my masculine into my feminine. We all have that balance, men and women. And the feminine is really where we connect, and the masculine is where we get shit done, right? So just keep connecting into your heart, connecting into that feminine, and you'll know when to ask. But you don't want to ask every week. That's too much, right? So every month or two, if you're, depends how long the engagement is, how long you're working with this client for. But definitely whenever they're sharing how much they love you and how much they've benefited from working with you, that's when you
Yeah.
want to ask.
Or another time, I think too, Debbie, what do you think about like when maybe you're working with somebody for a year and you have another workshop or another thing coming up? Often I find my clients want to come do everything.
Yeah,
And that's a great time to say, hey, you can, if you know anybody who this would be a good fit for, this would be a great time to bring them in because you're really giving them some value.
exactly.
Yeah, every new kind of thing that's in your world, I think people underestimate that how much our clients love us, right? They really do want to hear from the emails. They really
Exactly.
do want to be invited to join us.
Exactly.
And just like Claudine shared, like she hadn't even thought of the referral possibility. There's a million things that our clients haven't even thought of.
Exactly.
So these scripts are going to help you to have that be a natural thing that's woven into your business and how you show up as a service provider. And having those, what we do in my world is we talk about having the words at the tip of your tongue,
Exactly.
right? Connecting your own words with the willingness and the clarity to be willing to share them and say them.
Yes. Perfect example of something you just shared about, so for instance, I have clients in my 6-month mastery program, and I let them know that my Power Up Your Sales program is starting Tuesday. Who do they know? Like, it was a perfect opportunity for me to ask for referrals in that moment, right? When I'm on with my private clients, I've been saying the same thing. Who do you know? And I'm very, very specific on who I'm looking for and what problem they have and what they should be listening for people complaining about to know that that's a good person to refer.
How do we hear those? Yeah, that's brilliant.
Exactly.
So now you've mentioned Power Up Your Sales a couple of times. And before we hopped on this call, Debbie was telling me that the next group of Power Up Your Sales is happening and technically the enrollment's already closed. But I talked her into it, and she did say, if this is really resonating with you and you feel like this is the missing piece, if you don't have consistent sales in your business, it's very likely that it is. So Debbie has generously agreed to extend sales for a day or two. If you do want to talk with her about the Power Up Your Sales program, it's starting right away. So we're going to put Debbie's email. Is that right, Debbie? We're going to put your email here in the Zoom chat. Is it okay to also put that email on Facebook?
Yes, definitely.
So
definitely.
If this is resonating with you and you don't have this support and you're not seeing consistent sales and you want to, this program is a really great opportunity. I don't know if it's going to be probably not offered again until much later this year, if at all. Do you know?
October. I'll be doing it again.
If this is speaking to you, don't let 6 months go by with inconsistent sales, right? And Debbie has generously agreed to hop on a quick call with you if you think this is a good fit, or if you just want to find out if it's the right time and the right thing for you. She's lovely to talk to, as you can tell. So I will put Debbie's email here in the chat in our Zoom and also in the Facebook group, but you have to do that like today. You have to get into her email so you guys can quickly get on the phone and see, because it's really starting right away. And she's just doing this favor because we had other stuff we were doing and I couldn't get her in here any sooner. And so it's important that you have some way to empower your sales and to be consistent. So I will type Debbie's, all you gotta do is email her. This is totally off the books. And
Claudine,
if it's speaking to you, please take,
go on. Then we have to comment.
We'll jump into those questions. Yeah. If this is speaking to you though, just get on a quick call with her. She's willing to set aside some time and talk you through it and let you know what it is. And we'll put we're just going to give the email, right? We don't have a link. Do we want to give them a link to the program? No, it's closed.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, definitely.
Oh, okay, great. We'll give them a link. We'll give you a link to that too. Okay, great. Coaches. I teach coaches questions rather. I teach coaches and entrepreneurs how to write a book in 10 days. That's awesome. How can I ask for a referral? I have a success story. Did you see that comment?
I saw the beginning of it. I got good feedback from people purchased my book 5 weeks. Okay, got it. And so how do you ask for referrals for people to buy the book, Claudine, or to work with you in another way? If you could be more specific, then I can answer that. And then she had some questions about the program, which we will give you details. So don't worry about that.
Excellent.
So just put in the chat what you mean exactly. But if you want people,
Or she could unmute and just ask. We could just talk with Claudia.
yeah, unmute, please. Let's do it the most connected way. So a referral for your book or for something else?
Thank you. No, the people who buy my book, they give me good feedback. So I want to know how I can ask them to do referral. That's what.
Oh, so who else do you know who would love to, and be really specific about the benefit, the results that people will get reading the book, like what their pain point would be, what they're struggling with, and what your book will help them with. So who else do you know who is struggling with XYZ that could really benefit from hearing what I've shared in this book, right? It's, yeah, just do it that way. If they've loved it, they've given you great feedback, just appreciate them, love them, and say, who do you know who could also benefit?
Oh, okay, thank you. Another question was about I teach how to write a book in 10 days. I have a successful story. So I can do the same thing you just said? I teach change makers and entrepreneurs how to write a book in 10 days.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And so you're asking how you ask for referrals for that too?
Yeah.
All right, great. So if you're helping somebody write a book in 10 days and they're writing this book and now they have this finished product, it's like, wow, like it's a tangible result. They're probably thrilled, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who else do you know who has, a book in their head and they haven't done it yet and they've been hesitating because they don't know how to do it and it's overwhelming to them, and I can help them in 10 days to create create a book and make it easier for them. Who do you know would like to create a book with ease and grace, right? Something like that, for sure.
Okay,
awesome.
Thank you.
Great question.
Asked for fast results that'll help them get clients.
Yeah. And Elaine said, yay, excited to be in this with Debbie. Elaine joined the program, so I'm so happy. Claudine, so the program, it's a 7-week program. It's starting Tuesday. We meet weekly over an 8-week period, 7 different times. We take a week off the beginning of April just to implement. And we're meeting on Tuesdays from 10 to 11:30 Pacific. And so we're going to be going into how to follow up and how to invite people to work with you, referral strategy, how to do coffee dates that actually result in people. How many of you do lots of coffee dates and not much is happening from them? Anybody?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. That's over. That's going to be over. I have a template for how to do a powerful have a powerful conversation and have a strategy for following up afterwards, which is so critical because you spend all this time, energy, and money meeting with people, especially when you were traveling to go to coffee dates. Now it's all virtual, but there's energy involved and there's time involved, and you want to get results from that. We'll be talking about pre-qualifying. We'll be talking about the enrollment conversation, like powerfully inviting people to work with you, and you're coming from a confident place. So we do so much more. Please go to the site to learn more. So
yeah, I'm looking now. It's so loaded with great stuff, Debbie. I'm thrilled to have you here, how to pre-qualify potential clients so you're not talking to the wrong people. I spent probably 3 years doing that. Yeah. Create a lucrative network of JV. And we have JV relationship. I love JV partners because it's marketing with, we have to do marketing. If you're in business and you want to have a thriving business, 80% of your focus, attention, energy, time, and resources needs to be devoted to marketing and sales. I'm sorry, it's just true. So we talk about sharing your message here feel as good as doing the work that you love. And exactly. Debbie's going to help you do that through your sales and follow-up, right? I spent so much time and energy scattered to the wind without a system. You're talking about how we're going to do enrollment and implementing a referral strategy. I know that they get the support with you on live calls. So I think that we've had a lot of value here in this call already today. I want to make sure that you have your questions answered, especially for those of you who have chosen to join us here live. So I'll recap some of the things that we're talking about. I see maybe another question. Paul's asking if you offer a specific CRM system.
Okay, so great question. Then there's some older questions too from Mary.
Okay, I'll go through those. Why don't you talk with Paul and I'll go through the questions for you.
So that's what I'm going to help with in the program, because there are so many different systems out there. Everyone has different needs. Everyone has different technological capabilities. So I have vetted some on my website to make it easy for you so you don't have to spend days and days looking for different CRMs, but it's a longer conversation. I can't do it here. because I really need to know what you're going to use it for. And a lot of people, some people just need to follow with people one at a time, and that's just a CRM. Some people are doing like campaigns and sending out about programs and launches, and they need autoresponders, and they need the capability of sending out emails in to groups of people, and that's the email marketing system. So there's so many out there, and everyone's got different needs. So we would need to chat, but I'm making sure that everyone in the program has the perfect system for them, right?
Yeah.
And there are free trials, so you can check them out and see if it works for you, but it's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Mary had a question. I think she had to hop off the call, but hopefully she'll come back and catch the replay. One of the questions, it's the only one I'm seeing that we haven't touched on today, is there a length of time one should have a client before asking for a referral, beginning, middle, end of contract? We did touch on that.
Yeah.
But if you want to, is there anything else you want to share about?
It's not about the length of time. It's all about when they're like loving you up and they're so happy, that's when you want to ask. So it doesn't matter about the time. It just matters about the conversation and the results that they're getting. So,
yeah. Claudine, were you asking about what's the investment for the program? Yes. Yeah. So I just scrolled down to Debbie's site. It's on that link that we showed you. You can pay in full for $9.97, or $97 a month for 12 payments.
I just
crazy doable.
I just did that yesterday.
Congratulations.
We were doing $197 for 6 payments, and people were asking me, please, I want to do this program. I want to make it super affordable. A lot of coaches don't. I mean, I've been doing this for years. A lot of coaches don't do this. It's like they want you to be paying for the program by the time the program's over. I am so committed to making this affordable and easy for people, to budget in $97 a month. So just think of how many clients you need to cover a month to cover $97, and it might be 1/10 of a client, whatever it is for you, right?
Yeah.
The program,
so really, there's no reason not to do it. If you don't have a system, and one of the things people will say, well, I'm in a million different programs. I would say that you need a way to make offers and get clients more than you need a website. You don't need a website to get clients. You don't need a funnel to get clients. You don't need anything but a phone and a way to take money to get clients if you know what to do. I got that from Christian. That's not my own thing, but that's what he told me. And I was like, wait, what? And so this is called the no-brainer, right? Like, this is like, there's no, if this is speaking to you, the point of this interview is that we're giving you value and helping you see the value and possibility of and loving your sales conversations. But I twisted Debbie's arm, and she's like, I could get them in if we have the conversation right away. So this is about like, there's no, if you don't have $97 to have more sales in your business, beg, borrow, or steal. Don't steal. Don't beg. But Debbie shared that she asked people to help her, like, be willing, really question, go ahead and take a look at how can you make that work? Because that's an incredible opportunity. One sale is going to more than pay for this whole program in many, many cases. So we've got a couple more questions.
Yeah, Claudine said, when should we talk to you, Debbie? Just email me. We can talk today, because again, time's of the essence. And including the system, the CRM is something that you pay for separately.
Good question.
And they're like ranging from $19 all the way up to a couple hundred. So I'll help you choose the one that's affordable for you, or that's right for you and that fits into your budget. And one of the things I wanted to share is that I teach income producing activities. If you implement what you're learning in the program, you will be getting more clients. So when you're following up better with people and you have more people saying yes to working with you, you'll be bringing in that income. So I'd like you really to write down on a piece of paper, what does an average client bring in for you? Great. How many clients do you need? And I'm giving incredible bonuses. You'll see it on the sales page. There's a inner game piece, because I always partner up with people who do help with limiting beliefs and fears, because in sales and follow-up, stuff comes up that stops people. So there's a 30-minute private session with a dear friend of mine, Sahar Nafal, and she's had life-changing, clients are getting life-changing results just in that 30-minute session. There's an hour of tech support for those people who aren't techie to help you get your system set up. There's 6 networking events for free. I host networking events twice a month, and you can come as my guest for free and start implementing what you're learning in the program in a real live community of heart-centered entrepreneurs.
It's
I'm
a
also,
fabulous community too. Just like there's a lot of networking stuff out there, and I'll dabble in a couple of different formats, but Debbie's got a really warm, welcoming, high impact networking community and formula that she's using that you can plug right into and start implementing what you're learning right away. So it's
and
a
the
pretty
last,
sweet opportunity. Thank you for opening it up for us. You
oh,
were
you're
gonna
so
say?
welcome. The last bonus is actually my home study program that teaches you all about how to prepare for networking and how to network more effectively so you get better results. And it's called the Profitable Networking Formula. And that program on my website is $497. So for $997, you get 2 programs plus all this other stuff. And I love it. Claudine says, I need help focusing in income generating activities for sure. Ah, success
So
loves
good.
speed. I love that.
Yeah. Do you
We
want to talk
elaborate?
can you talk generally about systems? I think we've touched on, like, we can go get a MailChimp for $15 a month, or so there's for people who don't know, if you're growing a business online and you're going to build a community and you're going to send them email, you're going to need some way to collect and gather those emails. Some systems even have a free way to start doing that.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Debbie? Just
Yeah,
in broad
Claudine was
strokes.
Yeah, Claudine was just asking about elaborating that. So that's the
That's
customer
what I
relationship
meant to.
management system we were talking about.
Mhm.
And so that's where you're going to store all the contacts, all the information for all the people you meet. And that's what's going to keep you on track. Yeah, we actually didn't even get to have that conversation about what the CRM does for you. It helps you keep on track with all your clients. So for instance, you meet somebody in a networking event online now, you like them, there's a good connection, you enter them into your CRM, you call them, you're taking notes if you reach them and you're having a conversation, and then you set a reminder for the next time you're going to reach out if you didn't reach them, because if you don't reach them and don't have a system, you're going to forget and they'll slip through the cracks, right? So the CRM is going to keep you consistently in touch with people. And I always say, when you first meet someone, the relationship is just getting started. The follow-up is how you nurture that relationship and deepen that connection, like step by step. So the more you're following up with people and the more consistent you are, the more that know, like, and trust factor is going to be created, and they'll either become a client or a referral source, or some partner in some way. So you need that technology to keep you on track. And then if you are sending out emails, to groups of people, then you need the email marketing system. So we go into this in a lot of detail in the program, but it's impossible to create consistent sales results in an efficient way without having a place to store all of your information. And I share lots of scripts and templates in the program, and you want to store them in your CRM so that whenever you send an email, like a similar email out more than once, it's time to create a template. And I have like hundreds of templates I've created over the years. And every time I'm sending something out that's similar to a previous email, I'll say to myself, time for a template. So you store them all in your system. So you don't need to be looking all over the place for, where is that email? Who did I last send it to? I want to send a similar email. Like, it's all in the system. So you're going to end up being so much more efficient and effective with your business, and you'll have more time to do the things you love and spend with the people you enjoy being with and have a life, right? So your business doesn't take over everything. So I hope that helped, Claudine.
Yeah, we spend a lot of times, entrepreneurs spend a lot of time spinning their wheels. We spin our wheels in different training programs. We spin our wheels thinking, I need a podcast and a website and I need to do a challenge and I need to learn all these things. And we're scattered to the winds, especially now. I think it's all accelerated. We're all sitting on our screens more. Many people are building online businesses in a more urgent, bigger way, and there's so many moving parts that we can layer in. I'll say again, and all of the visibility stuff that I teach and share starts with, what are you offering? And for years it didn't. And I spun, and we you can get visible and not have the income. And so the two things, that's why I was excited to bring you in here, Debbie, is that the two things that I see again and again are, how do we define the high value actions? And the easiest way to do that every single time is, what is your offer and who can you make it to? What are you focused on right now? What are you inviting to? And then having a system. So Debbie's got a secret kind of unicorn magic with all this stuff. So if you don't have it, sign up and play with her. If you have questions or you just want to know more about Debbie, definitely get the free scripts. Email her. You know, she's super approachable. I'm thrilled to have her here in the community. Before we close, are there any last minute conversations, questions? Elaine, will you just unmute?
And I'd love you all to put your takeaways, ahas, insights in the chat. You know, what you're walking away with that you're going to implement that you haven't been before, just anything of value. It's always super helpful for me to know what resonates with people and what people find to be valuable.
Same for those of you who come back and watch the replay here in the group. Definitely let us know your takeaways. And if you have questions and you come back and watch the replay, you can tag Debbie. She's a member of our group. So make sure that we get your questions answered. Elaine, what's yours?
Well, first of all, thank you both. Getting to know the two of you, each of you in these last 6 months has been an incredible blessing for me. And my husband Evan's on the phone also, and we've been in business for a long time. We made some turns.
The winding path for us all.
Winding path, right. And so I just want you to know, we are so excited. Nevin and I decided to do it together.
Nice.
We're in business together. And all I know is that when we do it, we make money that we don't make unless we do that. But we don't have a clue of what to say. Now, we're both adults. I mean, we're like adults, you know, like the 70s. So you'd think we would know how to do it. But what Debbie offers is what brings us to our knees.
So great that you're here.
And we
so
are
great that you're
so excited. We are so, Nevin's been reaching out to some of our technology customers, and he gets results every time he does it. So we're really, really, really looking forward to being consistent on this.
So good.
So we're both, Nevin and I are both very excited. Yeah, he's down there in his office.
I see you. Nice to meet you.
Elaine, I'm
so
thrilled that you guys are going to be part of the program.
I just want to say that I've been looking at Debbie's program for a while, and you know, we're heavily invested in what we're doing, and this has been a really expensive 6 or 7 months for us. And when Debbie said, well, let's do the $97 a month for 12 months, I said, here's my credit card. Yeah. So the fact that you did that, I think speaks volumes of your real commitment. And I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you for asking, really. I'm so thrilled because I never want money to get in the way. I have done crazy payment plans in the past. Crazy payment plans.
About that. Thank you. I know it's going to just pay off for everybody. I just want to say, if you're thinking about this, just thank you for doing that. This is a missing piece that we have. I have always felt, we've been in business since 1997, and I've always felt that the follow-up has cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Think of all those old leads that you'll have to follow up with, though.
Well, we have customers that we've had for 15 years.
So good.
Yeah, so we're excited. We're so excited. Can't wait for Tuesday.
Excellent.
It's the missing piece. It's totally the missing piece of the puzzle for so many entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
And the thing is, it's not the sexiest part of one's business, right? And because all this, I know Claudine's shaking her head, because all the salesy, pushy, feelings come up, people resist it. But my whole approach from all those mistakes I made networking after coming out of Wall Street is how led me to create a heart-centered, authentic follow-up formula so that when you follow up, you feel really good about it. I love following up with people. Friday, I had the whole day blocked off to be calling people, and nothing makes me happier than to have conversations with people and to show up in service to them, let go of attachment to the results. I let go of my agenda. I showed up in service, and it's so fun for me. Like, I want that to be how you guys wake up in the morning, that you look forward to following up with people. You look forward to having those sales conversations.
So good.
And you look forward to helping a lot of people. So
And you know, another thing, I mean, I think most of my community here is often a transformation industry based. And so there's an attachment that we have around being able to charge for our work, and especially for people that are in a quote unquote spiritual community or mindset. And I just want to say that it's really fun to have people sign up and pay you. And that's a good thing. And when they do make that investment in themselves to have the transformation, like some of you have already decided to do with Debbie, their results are thrilling. You're holding a space for them to say yes to themselves. And it's fun to talk to people, really connect, to be in that neutral zone of like, is this a good fit for you? Yeah, this is a good fit for you. That's what I think. What do you think? And just holding space for them, and to have them sign up it's great to have the clients and the sustainable. That's a good thing. To have a sustainable business where you're actually making regular money is a very, very good thing. And then they get that transformation. They've chosen to say yes to themselves. So it's where the fulfillment, we're called, we want to help people, we want to serve people. But if they're not working that mechanism for them to enroll and sign up, we're stopping. There's a wall. They're not getting the best. Those people who are most aligned for us are not getting that result. So you're spot on, Debbie. I love you. Thank you for being here. We did have another takeaway that was Sandra shared with us before she hopped off. That never throw a business card away was what she shared. Claudine had another question about, where do you get high ticket clients, since you're talking about getting visibility without money. That's, when you have the offer and you have the system. So I think it can go both ways, actually, Claudine. I think that some people come with me, they're really working on how do I get visible, but you have to know where you're headed. And some people will go and work with Debbie and they'll say, I need an offer and a system, and then they'll be more prepared to get visible. So I think that they're hand in hand. That's why Debbie and I love to play together.
Yeah, I'm going to help you make the money, and then Michelle can help you with getting more visible online. But also when you build these relationships with JV partners, you're going to become more visible. So quick story, a client of mine I've been working with, she was doing everything on her own, promoting all of her webinars like solo entrepreneur. And I taught her about JV partnerships. Which is a myth. It's a myth, I know.
It's a myth.
I taught her about partnerships, reaching out to people, creating these relationships where you're supporting each other. And the next webinar she did, she had all these people that came from her JV partners. And she said to me, Debbie, I've been working so hard. This was so much easier. And like, she's getting clients from the referrals she's getting from these JV partners. So there's a whole world out there of people who want to help and support you, and that you can partner up with. Like Michelle and I are like perfect JV partners, and we're great friends as well, and we really care about each other, and it's just so fun to be able to help each other's communities, because what we do just goes hand, just is like the perfect puzzle pieces coming together.
So lots of value from this call today. Thank you so much for taking some time out. Thank you for our special extension. We probably you have to get in touch with Debbie today, maybe tomorrow, in order to firm things up if this is speaking to you, but reach out to her, email her as soon as you want to. And Lucinda says, thank you, Debbie. Exciting to speak. Michelle, I always love having you in my circle, Lucinda. We are going to end this call at the top of the hour. If you have any final takeaways and you want to unmute and just share one word or two words of what's been valuable for you today, do that.
Yeah, please unmute. I'd love to hear takeaways, insights.
Yeah,
You're
my
so
takeaway.
It's a meeting of art. It's wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Lucinda.
Excellent.
So
My
welcome.
takeaway is to know that I can ask for referral. I didn't know. I had no idea that I can do that. Now I'm going to start asking people to give me a referral. Thank you. And then Debbie will call you.
Awesome. Fabulous.
Excellent.
I'll be around
Paul,
today.
you're so welcome. It's great to have you here. Again, if you're watching on Facebook and we've got all the links up there for you, but just shoot Debbie an email if you're thinking about it, so that she can help you know what the time frame is and everything. The information about her program is there. Get the free things. All right. But then the free things are going to give you just this yummy little taste. You have to do the free things in order to get the results. And honestly, especially now in this time that we are in, never have I been more clear that it is with community, mentoring, guidance, accountability, some time frame, structured time that we are going to actually get the results that we want. Doing it alone
Exactly.
is the hard way. And if you're collecting all the free stuff, you're probably just overwhelmed with free stuff. We need to pick something, focus, and have the mentoring and support to implement. It is not fair or reasonable to think, I know what I need to do. I just need to make myself do it.
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Right? So get the support you need, whatever it is, and reach out to Debbie. It's been a treat to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is so wonderful. Thank you all for playing full out and participating. It's so much more fun. So much more fun when you guys are chatting away in the program.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to stop our live stream. Bye. Bye, Facebook. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye, Facebook.
Awesome. Thanks you guys for being here. Reach out to Debbie if you have any questions. Elaine, so fun to have you. Nice to meet you, Nevin. Claudine, you're beautiful. It's so exciting to have you here. And Debbie, you and I will touch base soon.
Thank you.
Oh, we're
so
going to
much.
talk for a minute, aren't we? Let me stop the recording. Bye, recording.